So I'd like to introduce to you my guest, Stephen Reinders. He's a team leader for food nutrition services here at Bellin Health. Hi, Stephen.
Hi, Jesse. How are you?
Good.
Fantastic.
So, as you know, the message for our month is to really increase consumption of whole foods. You know, not only for the benefits that it brings for our participants, you know, the energy and health, but to kind of get back to the basics, kind of weave through all of the, you know, fad diets and things like that. Can you kind of just shed some light on whole foods as it relates to your world?
Sure. Well, what we're looking at when we're talking about whole foods is foods that are not processed. So you're looking for foods that come raw, uncooked, unprocessed, not ready to eat foods. A good example is lunch meat. A lot of people like lunch meat because it's ready to go. You can put it on some bread and go ahead and eat it. But there's generally additives in there, things that you don't really know what they are, preservatives. There's generally a lot of salt in those things. So what we want to do is go ahead and look for raw food that we can cook and have ready to eat. So that's going to be part of our goal, is to cook ahead or prep ahead a bunch of food so that when you go into the refrigerator, you can say, what do I want to eat? And there's food ready to eat. So we're going to replace lunch meat with meat that you've cooked at home. So you know it's more nutritious, you know what's in it. It's going to be the food that you want to eat.
You know, sometimes there is this confusion about what classifies as whole foods. You know, I have patients that ask me, you know, does it have to be organic? Does it have to be something, you know, totally unknown? And I guess, what's your take on that?
Well, again, I think you don't have to go into a special aisle for whole foods. You don't have to worry about if it's gluten-free or you know, like you said, organic. Those are nice, but generally, if you're looking for whole foods, you're looking for the raw food that you're going to cook. You're not looking for processed food that has a lot of fillers or a lot of ingredients in it that's made to make it last longer. So that is one of the things that you need to keep in mind about whole foods is you want to use them up right away because they're not going to last forever.
And that's kind of the beauty of it, is that there's not all these preservatives or, you know, again, all those ingredients that you can't pronounce. And the list, like, you know, 10 miles long, and you're like, well, what are we talking about? A science experiment or my food?
Right.
And you can just say it's a pepper, or it's an egg, or it's a mushroom. You know, it doesn't come from a box. It doesn't come from a factory, you know, it wasn't made in a plant. It is a plant. So.
Right. That's beautiful.
So it kind of brings me to my first point that I wanted to get across with this video is planning. And you were saying that, you know, planning is really crucial. Failure to plan, planning to fail. And Saturday or Sunday, I think, works really good. My patients and I call it the shop and chop day.
Excellent. That's a good way to put it. And if you've done some work ahead of time a little bit and figured out what recipes you'd like to have and gone to the store and bought all the ingredients you need, you can prepare a lot of them on Saturday or Sunday. Sunday, if you're not doing anything in the afternoon, you can have the TV on and watch your favorite show and do all of your chopping. So that's what we're going to do here today. So we have prepared already some of the ingredients that we're going to use for our dishes. The one big thing that we're looking at, and I have these in Ziploc bags because this is the way you can keep these at home. We have chicken breasts that we have cooked and cut up, and it's ready to go. And we can keep it all in one bag, so you can do a whole lot of chicken and keep it in one bag and take it out as you need it. Or you can separate it into different bags, like we have these peppers and onions separated into different bags, and they're ready to go for whatever recipe we need them for. So the idea would be, if you're going to use chicken 4 times during the week, to look at your recipe and see how much chicken you need. So maybe for the entire week you need to have 6 chicken breasts. So on Sunday, or whichever day we're going to chop and chop, we're going to cook off all of those chicken breasts and slice them up and have them ready to go in the refrigerator. A couple of good ways to do this is you can bake the chicken breasts in the oven if you want. A lot of times my wife actually boils chicken breasts. She puts them just in a pot of water with maybe a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, and just boils them until they're done. That way they stay more moist.
Okay, so as far as today goes, can you tell us a little bit more about what we're going to learn or what we're going to see today?
Sure. Well, the first thing we're going to see is how to make crock pot fajitas. So on Sunday, we're going to have baked chicken for supper. So we're going to bake up the chicken that we're eating for our Sunday supper, plus we're going to bake up the extra chicken that we need for the rest of the week. We're going to do it all at once. Then when we have that done, we'll set aside the chicken that we're using for the rest of the week and put it in the refrigerator, and the baked chicken we're going to eat. We're also going to have baked potatoes, so we're going to bake some potatoes for our Sunday supper, and we're also going to do a couple of extra baked potatoes. So for the crock pot fajitas, we have some flank steak that we've cut up into cubes, and we're going to just put that into our crock pot liner. And then we have our peppers that we've already sliced up. You can slice them up in nice thick slices like this. You can dice them up however you like to have them. This is kind of the fajita way to do them. It's called julienne. And we're just going to dump those in there.
And be sure to refer to some of your handouts that we've given you, because we do talk about different ways to, you know, like he was saying, julienne, and I wouldn't really know what that was until I learned about it. So some of our materials actually talk about it for this month as well.
Sure.
So.
And julienne is just a fancy way of saying
Slicing.
cutting it into strips. Really all it is. So we're going to put also our onions in there. So it's Sunday, we're putting this together, we're going to put the liner into the refrigerator, and then on Monday we're going to take it out and we're going to put it in the crock pot, we're going to turn it on, and we're going to let it go all day. And then when we come home, dinner's done.
Change is much easier if you can involve the whole family and get them their buy-in right away before they see these changes coming and not knowing what's going on.
Absolutely. I think the buy-in is the right word there. When the kids can be involved in what they're doing, and with a little bit of supervision, they can do a lot of this work. They can do a lot of chopping, and they'll love it. They like to be involved in those kinds of things in the kitchen, and then they can eat some of the things as they're chopping it up and find that they like things that maybe they didn't know they liked.
I like that too. I challenge my girls to, when we're grocery shopping, you know, to pick out different fruits or vegetables that they would, you know, like. And if you're making, you know, eggs and you tell them, well, we're going to have these omelets, you know, what do you want to put in there? They might be more apt to try the new foods as we experiment with recipes and things like that. And I think, you know, what a great gift to be able to give, you know, your family is like food that, you know, you've prepared and you know what's in it. And, you know, involving them in that process kind of passes along that knowledge so that next generation, you know, understands food and knows how to use it and cook with it. And, you know, we talk about solving the obesity issue, and it's like, this is how you do it. You get back to the love of food and its raw form.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for showing us today how easy it is to make delicious whole food meals for our families. You know, I really just want to hammer it home to all of you that, you know, planning your meals and keeping it simple and involving your family are 3 really easy steps that you can do to feed them nutritiously. So do you have any takeaways for us?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I'd like to get across is don't be afraid to get in the kitchen and cook. And the more things that you can do ahead of time, the easier it's going to be during the week. So you can take the extra time that it takes to learn how to cut something differently or to work with different foods, to have that food cooked ahead of time so that you have stuff ready to go in the refrigerator that's good for you.
So by cooking reserves and prepping during that supper for the next day, we really can create our own version of fast food for our families.
Exactly.
And know what goes into it and that it's healthy and whole. So really thank you for coming and sharing your expertise with us today, and I can't wait to try some of these recipes myself.
It was my pleasure.
Thank
you.
So thanks for joining us today in the Bellin Corporate Health Challenge, and together we'll live healthy and live well.